I heard her laugh, but it wasn't the laugh she used to share with me, the soft, private kind that once belonged only to our late-night talks. This one was sharp, careless, like it belonged to someone else entirely. Even my boss's nephew tried me, she giggled. I froze in the hallway, listening. Those words weren't meant for me. They were a confession, carelessly tossed out, but piercing straight into my chest. I didn't storm in. I didn't shout or break anything. Instead, I stepped quietly back into the shadows and smiled, like a man who had just reached the final page of a book he'd been waiting years to finish. We had been together for a decade. 10 years of building, saving, dreaming. I had given her a kind of loyalty most men don't bother with anymore. Paid for her courses when she wanted to change careers. Stayed up through her sleepless nights. Defended her when her own family called her spoiled. She used to tell me I was her anchor. Maybe I was. But anchors get heavy. And some people cut them loose once they've steadied their ship. The first crack appeared 6 months earlier. A late night. Her phone lying face down and a nervous laugh when I walked in. She brushed it off. Just a meme, she claimed. I didn't push, but I remembered. From then on, I noticed the changes. The new perfume, longer showers, the way she suddenly dressed better for work. She thought she was clever. She wasn't. The moment she bragged about my boss's nephew, I realized it wasn't just cheating. It was arrogance. She wasn't only unfaithful. She was careless enough to mock me in the same breath she betrayed me. That was her weakness. That night, I made my choice. I wouldn't fight. I wouldn't confront. I would end it, but not on her terms. She was going to choke on her own decisions. The first step was hiring a lawyer. Quietly, I told him I wanted it handled without drama. He nodded and said, "Then you'll need leverage." I already had it. For months, I had been gathering everything. Screenshots, call logs, bank transfers she thought I wouldn't notice, photos of her slipping into hotels on weekends, carefully dated and cataloged. But the strongest weapon wasn't proof of her affairs. No, it was something buried even deeper, something she never saw coming. Years before marriage, I had pushed for a full background check as part of our prenuptial agreement. She laughed then, called me paranoid, but she signed. Hidden in the fine print was a clause linking her financial rights to one crucial detail, her legal identity. And in that identity was a flaw uncovered by the investigator years ago. When the day came, I filed for divorce. She smirked when I told her. I'll never forget it. Good, she said, arms crossed, almost triumphant. She thought she had already won. She thought half of everything was hers. Her lawyer chuckled too, leaning back smugly. "You'll be lucky to leave with your car," he told me. I didn't argue. I simply nodded to my attorney. He opened his briefcase, pulled out a single page, and slid it across the table. Her lawyer picked it up, smirking, until his eyes froze. The color drained from his face. His lips trembled as he whispered, "Oh my God, you married him." The room went silent. My wife, no, my soon-to-be ex, let out a nervous laugh. What's that supposed to mean? But her lawyer couldn't look at her. He simply pushed the paper toward her, with shaking hands. She read slowly, then faster. Her face twisted, first denial, then fear. The truth was simple. Her first marriage abroad had never been legally dissolved. The man she once dismissed as a boyfriend, she had actually married him. That record still stood, which meant our marriage, the one we had built for 10 years, never legally existed. No division of assets, no alimony, no spousal rights, nothing. She had gambled her future on a lie she didn't even realize she had told. 10 years she thought she could cash out of me, gone in seconds. She tried to argue, screamed, but her lawyer cut her off, sweat dripping down his face. "You don't understand," he told her. "Legally, you were never his wife. You get nothing." That's when her eyes met mine, desperate and pleading. But I felt nothing, no anger, no pity. Only clarity. The aftermath was quiet. No shouting, no smash plates. Just silence. She moved out within a week. Pride packed into her suitcases, her voice smaller each day. My lawyer closed the case with a smile. I walked away untouched, my house, my accounts, my freedom intact. She left with nothing but the echo of her own arrogant laughter. Sometimes I replay that giggle, that moment she mocked me behind a closed door. I remember how it hollowed me out. But then I remember the look on her face when she realized she had destroyed herself long before I lifted a finger. Revenge doesn't always come in fire and fury. Sometimes it's a single sheet of paper sliding across a table. Sometimes it's patience, silence, precision. I didn't shout. I didn't threaten. I let the truth do the work. And in the end, it spoke louder than I ever could. I don't miss her. I don't miss us. What I feel now is the calm that comes after a storm you survive without flinching. She betrayed me with arrogance. I answered with silence. She played games. I ended them. And the best part? She'll never forget that moment. That single piece of paper. That whispered line, "Oh my God, you married him." That was the day she realized I never had to destroy her.